Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Shrimp Nation. I hope you all are doing well, and welcome to anybody who is new to here. This is the Shrimp Fried Rice podcast. So I'm so happy to be doing something new with you all, and I'm going to be doing this podcast raw, unedited, just like my Twitch streams. So first things first, I know you guys have a bunch of questions. Do you wear wigs? Have you worn wigs? When will you wear wigs? And the question is yes. I'm not wearing my wig today, y'all. And I know that some of you who know me are used to it and don't even know the difference between my hair and a wig at this point. But yes, I wear wigs. What can I say? No, seriously, I've been wearing wigs for maybe over a year now. I have this like love-hate relationship with my hair, and I've always struggled with it, and I'm not wearing a wig right now. This is all natural, baby, but it is a little bit messy. But that's I think gonna be like the theme of this podcast. And I know what you're thinking. Fuck, another white person having a podcast. My god, how many more white people need a podcast? And hey, I agree. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm making this for you guys. It's just more for me. And I feel like I am making it for you guys with an extent, but also for me. And let me explain that. I have been streaming on Twitch for over 2 years now, since 2023. And I have learned a lot about myself and others along the way. A lot of people have made a positive impact on my life, as well as negative, because those are upsides and downsides to streaming. But throughout this time, I feel like I have healed my inner child, which is something I never thought I could do. And I've been in therapy on and off for probably 10 years, and I'd say it's had its upsides and downsides, a lot of benefits, a lot of things that didn't work out. But I feel like me taking this venture on my own and accidentally healing my inner child makes me feel good. And I think right now I do need to work on my middle school self. And then eventually I'll do high school and maybe my adulthood sometime soon. Hopefully the process will take a lot faster than 2 years, but I'm not going to rush it either, because I've also enjoyed these past 2 years, and I also want to live in the moment as well, and it's hard that I'm doing both at the same time. One thing about me is I have ADHD, so I'm going to be going back and forth, but if you guys hear me out, I will eventually get back to my point. So if you guys are new here, like I said, welcome. My name is Shrimp. What do I do? I was going to say I'm a full-time Twitch streamer, but that is actually changing now. I have been a full-time Twitch streamer for 8 months, but unfortunately I will have to go back to work maybe this week. And this is why I am transitioning into the podcasting format, because it gives me an opportunity to make content in my free time, but also within a limited time frame where, of course, I can keep track of a clock. I'm going to be trying to do it an hour. I'm also going to set up a Patreon so you guys have more content coming from me in a different way where I can still try to make some money off of it. Yes, I have been doing this for free for the past 8 months for you guys, and that's how dedicated I am to content creation and this as my career. Okay. I don't know where to start. And this was the complex thing about me starting a podcast in general. If any of you guys are audio listeners, I appreciate you. And I do apologize. My audio does sound a little whack sometimes. So I don't live alone. You may hear some footsteps above me. It happens. Also, my mic isn't the best, even though I do have a nice mic. I have always struggled with setting up the right filters because I have air purifiers on in the background. Also, hey, I have anxiety. I realized throughout this streaming process, I mouth breathe a lot. Yeah, I'm a chronic oversharer, and I think that... Sorry, I'm just fighting for my life. I have a hair by my mouth, and I can't focus until it goes away. It's probably my cat hair, because she just was up here. Hold on one second. Hold on. All right, so I know this is not going to be a traditional podcast, like I said before. I set it up in the sense that it's going to be just like my Twitch streams, except that it's mostly going to be a talking format. I would like to do some gameplay, but I might do it in the Patreon, or I just might add it in the podcast, depending on how much time that we do have. All right, let's start with the background. Like I was saying, with visual, with visual listeners versus audio listeners, it's going to be a little different. I'll introduce you to the background. Behind me, we have a sword. This is my freaking sword because I am a queen. I am a knight. No, I have this sword because I did a cosplay stream for my affiliate anniversary. And yeah, I was a medieval knight, also a lady, and I have that up there just because it's sick. Anyways, I have Funko Pops because I'm a big freaking nerd. That's another thing about me. I'm a Star Wars nerd, a dark fantasy nerd, just anything freaking medieval. Like, I don't know, I love dragons. I'm just saying, I'm a nerd overall. I feel like sometimes I forget a lot about me, even though this is my life. And it's hard for me to remember. I feel like it's like on the spot, and I feel like you'll learn you'll learn more about me as like the time goes on. And sometimes I stutter. I also have a bit of a tremor. But that's just me. So I'll introduce you to the rest of my background. I got this little guy right here. This is a sushi panda. I got this at an arcade. I did not name him, okay? This is my other guy. This is my dragon. Okay? This is a weighted dragon, and it's for my anxiety, okay? Put that on my chest or my tummy. I got this little cow. This little cow is for cramps. You can take out his back, and there's beads that you can heat up in the microwave, and it smells like lavender, and it feels nice. This is my Levi Ackerman. He's just a little guy I got from another arcade adventure. You guys really can't see much of my room, but another thing, I have a giant Grogu. That's my pillow. That's been my life savior. And yes, I know what you're thinking. What the flick is she doing her podcast in her bedroom on her bed? Yes. Yes, I am. And that's okay. And I think that's another thing about starting this podcast was I always thought, hey, I have to have a studio. I have to have the best mic. I have to have the best camera. I have to, everything has to be perfect. But guess what? Life isn't perfect. I'm not perfect. So it's okay. And I feel like that's just one of those life lessons I have learned along the ways that I would like to share with you all. So not only am I doing this podcast for me, but maybe this might help people along the way, or maybe some of my life experiences may open up other people's eyes to something that they need to hear. And hey, if you made it this far and you know me in real life, leave. I'm sorry, but you gotta go, because if I haven't opened up to you in real life about any of these things and you know who I am as a person, I'm sorry, but you're not someone that I trust, and I appreciate you trying to support me, but hey, you're clearly not in my life for a reason, even though you thought you were. No shade being like said in that, but it's just the god honest truth. If you are a viewer a long time from my Twitch accounts or my social medias, thank you. I appreciate you. And also, I'm not going to be posting this onto my main platforms because I'd like to start gaining some organic growth in YouTube from a new channel. And I feel like sometimes it's good to start over. And I think this podcast will give me the opportunity to start over and get new viewership. I am very appreciative of my viewership that I do have right now. I have a lot of international viewers, which means the world to me, truly. And I think I just want to open up the space more to get more people in to see a different side of me that you can't always see on Twitch. And since I am going to have to go back to work, I think it's a good opportunity to show this side of me that a lot of people can't see. Okay, so I got a lot of that out of the way. I forgot to introduce you to these little guys right here. So there's a little dinosaur guy I got at the arcade. And I got this little guy from this TikToker's boyfriend who makes merch. And also I got this little guy from Pop Mart. He is the cutest little frog, and you can change the time on him. Oh no. He comes off a little bit. And then hold on. Let me cook. This is a little fidget toy I got from my ADHD. It clicks like a mouse key and it lights up. Isn't that fucking crazy? Okay, let's circle back. My hair. I know. It's a mess, but I think I'd rather feel how I want to feel than pretend to be someone who I'm not, okay? I started streaming 2023, and when I first started streaming, I was streaming on a PlayStation 5 with no camera. I started streaming because my brother and sister encouraged me to do so. I was always gaming with my friends. I had a lot of funny moments. I had hundreds of PlayStation 5 clips that went nowhere because I thought, hey, I'm not good enough to be a streamer. I'm not funny enough. I'm not loud enough. Whatever. Because like, I can't describe who I am other than I am me. And yes, I have funny moments. I have sad moments. I'm not the best at gaming, but I always do my best to have a good time. So, with that being said, like when I first started streaming, I had a lot of anxiety, as I still do now. And I worked my way up to this point, and you're thinking, bitch, you have a nice camera. And your microphone's not bad. So like, what are you talking about? But if anyone who is a longtime viewer knows me, they will know that, again, I started off with a PlayStation 5 with a shitty ass mic on my phone, on my headphones. And it sounded like very crunchy. When I first started streaming, I just graduated college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I was like, all right, like, let's start streaming. It was like a big moment. I quit the job I was working at, and I was like, I'm just gonna take the summer off. I saved up enough money so I can financially afford to do so. And it's like the first time I didn't work in my entire life. That lasted probably 1 week before my ADHD was like, I need a job. What am I doing? And that was around the same time I started streaming. I worked as a bartender for a week, and I would have worked there longer. I liked doing it, but the guy who I worked for didn't pay me my hourly rate because I was training. And I have never been a bartender in my life, but hey, long-time drinker. I'm not like a crazy alcoholic. I stopped drinking. Like, I honestly don't really drink that often because I have stomach problems. But hey, I don't think it's that hard. And hey, don't come for me. I know like bartending is hard work because I did do it for a week. But I feel like it's not as hard as people make it seem in the sense that like I'm a fast learner. Yes, you have to stand on your feet all day. Yes, you have to deal with crazy customers. It was a sports bar, so I was serving people food. And it was kind of crazy situation because I knew a lot of people in the town that I live in. So it was just really uncomfortable, honestly. I'd say that was kind of like a humiliate. How do you say that word? Humiliation. Humiliation ritual. Okay. Great. Sorry. Listen, another thing about me, my first language was not English. That's not an excuse because I have seen many multilingual people speak English, but I do feel like low-key I have some sort of learning disabilities. Number one, I think I have autism. And I know a lot of people say that, make jokes about it, especially me, but there's just a lot of things that add up to make sense of me having autism. Number two, I have an official, unofficial diagnosis of ADHD. I went to therapy for many years, diagnosed with ADHD, especially after I graduated college. That's how I found out I had ADHD. I worked full-time while going to school full-time. When I was in high school, I did sports clubs and went to school and then had a job. Okay, these are just not normal things people do. When I graduated college, and I thought, hey, I can have free time to figure out what I want to do in my life. And I immediately started job searching because I didn't know what to do in my free time. Like, this was killing me. I was going insane. That's a sign of ADHD. Told my therapist all the shit that was happening. Also, I noticed my focus was worse when I was doing less than when I was doing more. How does that make sense? Also, like, when I was in school, I procrastinated so bad because I only work well under pressure. So if I had in college like an assignment due a week from now, I would have anxiety about it all week, sick to my stomach, hate myself, watch Netflix, like in my free time, which I barely had free time because I was going to school and working full time. But like in the small free time I had, I'd play video games and I'd be like, God, I fucking hate myself. Why do I do this to myself? I wait till the last minute the night before, stay up till 3 a.m. Best essay I ever wrote, has straight A's. What? Like, how do you do this? Like, this is insane. And then I'd feel good about it. And then not only did it give me some sort of like adrenaline rush and made me like, oh, I have to panic and it has to be great. I put out my best content under pressure. And that's how I feel also about streaming. I feel like I have a lot of anxiety and unless I force myself to do something and like just like writing an essay when I did in school, and like that's what I was leading back to when I started streaming. Sorry if you see me playing with my ears, I have earbuds in and I know I'm not listening to anything, but it has a noise canceling option, which is good to block out the fan that you guys might hear in the background. So guess what? You guys might hear it. I won't. When I first started streaming, I was like not really taking it as seriously because I was just like, yeah, this is cool. I can make this money on the side. And one thing I think that I'll always regret is my brother, when we were younger, said that he wanted to be a streamer and content creator, do gaming for a living. And I put him down. And honestly, it breaks my heart because I never want to make anyone feel that way. And I have no excuse for saying that other than what I was brought up. Now, just because I was brought up that way doesn't mean that I should word vomit, what my parents have taught me. So it's complicated because when I was growing up, I wanted to do many things in my life and in different stages in life. And for example, I wanted to be a marine biologist. And everybody would laugh every time I would say that because I love dolphins. I was obsessed with dolphins. Like, I was very much animal activist, still am. And then guess what? Became allergic to shellfish and fish. And that's why my name is Not Allergic to Shrimp. My name used to be Allergic to Shrimp. It was a funny play on words of my allergy, and also like everybody in my friend group, that was like my sister's friend group, always had like an animal name plus like something else. So like I don't know how to describe it without doxing their information, but like let's say someone's name would be like well, I can't even think of a made up animal because I have so many friends in my real life now with animal names. Let's say like Dolphin, for example. Their name would be like Dolphin and like Superior. So it'll be like the Superior Dolphin. Like just random shit, okay? Mine is not allergic to shrimp now, but it was allergic to shrimp. And it was always a funny haha because I was deathly allergic to all seafood, anything in and out of the ocean, aquatic animals alike, basically. And now you're saying, hey, squid, that's not a fish or shellfish, but guess what? I was allergic to that too, but in a different way. I had severe eczema. I have severe asthma, not so much now, but more so before. I did a bunch of allergy testing. I had over 40 allergies of fruits and vegetables, like for example, onions, black pepper, garlic, tomatoes, and you're gonna say, hey, what the frick? You're Italian. How the hell are you allergic to all of that? What are you supposed to eat? Those are like the main ingredients to making a nice sauce. I know. But guess what? Not all my allergies made my throat close, and thankfully for that. It was more of like I had severe eczema my whole life, and mostly was bullied for it. But finding out those allergies and winding down on my food options made me understand that allergies show up in different forms. So like, for example, perfumes and dyes I was allergic to. My mom changed over my soap from like regular detergent to Free and Clear, whichever brands it is, non-sponsored, you know. Now there are more brands, but I think Free and Clear was the main one that I used to only be able to have. My eczema was so bad I'd have to take oatmeal baths. I was deeply allergic to chlorine, so I could not swim in a pool unless I was slathered in Vaseline. Like I had to look like a wet seal. Okay. What else? Red 40. And I know you're thinking, damn, that's crazy. Red 40? Yes, my throat would close. How did I find out? Freshman year of high school, my friend brought in red velvet cupcakes for her birthday. I had one, throat closed. And I know what you're thinking. How did you go your whole life having that allergy and not knowing we live in America and it's everywhere? But I always had a red dye allergy growing up, but it showed in a different way. When I had red dyes when I was a kid, and we found out because I loved Kool-Aid, High C Punch, popsicles, anything red. I loved the cherry flavor, but it was also crazy good. That would make me hyper, like I'd be running around like crazy, like insane. So, mind you, there is a link to people with ADHD and red dyes making it worse, by the way. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I think it makes sense now. But anyways, that was the allergy. So I would avoid having red dyes. Most of the time, my food lunch for school was a packed lunch just because of my allergies. And I never had like an issue with the fish and shellfish allergy because when I was younger, every time I ate fish, I would throw up. And now my parents thought I just didn't like it that much, so I would throw up the fish on purpose, but it actually just made me sick. So they just never forced the subject. And when I was 8, I had my communion. I loved calamari, didn't know what it was. And one of my cousins came down from Minnesota and was like, ew, you eat calamari? You know that's a squid, right? Heartbroken. Little me that wanted to be a marine biologist, my whole world was destroyed. My parents, number one enemy. How can you tell me that, or how could you not tell me? Like, I'm eating a squid and this is like my favorite appetizer at a restaurant, and you knew that I wanted to be a marine biologist and I'm over here eating my friends? Lost it. Also, that could have been my autism diagnosis. So yeah, I swore off fish and shellfish because guess what? those are my friends. I was like, I'm a marine biologist. I am not going to fuck with my friends in the ocean. And that somehow maybe saved my life, because I found out I was allergic to fish and shellfish severely when I did all that allergy testing with after my throat closed with the red dyes. I also had an allergy to almonds. I'll explain how everything worked. So fish and shellfish, throat would close, hives all over my body. One of my ex-boyfriends, he had crab on his hand, and he touched my wrist, and I had his handprint and hives all the way going up to my throat, and my throat started closing. That's how bad it was. Thank God my allergies are gone as of 2023. So it seems like 2023 is a big year for me, and had a lot of life-changing moments, which I'm very thankful for. Anyways, after being allergic to fish, all of my life, it just became a comedic joke. My username being allergic to shrimp was just the play on words, being goofy, but also I wasn't just allergic to shrimp, so many other things, but that it was just the funniest thing to say. Like, I was going down the line. Okay, allergic to almonds, no. Allergic to red dyes, okay, maybe. Allergic to fish, okay, I don't know. Fish, like, sometimes I feel like fish gets a bad connotation because it's stinky, like it's just like, I'm trying to think all these things. Okay, let me think. What other allergies? Allergic to chlorine, burp. Like, I'm thinking like the big buzzer sound. Nope. Let me see. What else am I allergic to? Allergic to onions. That's not funny, and it's not that bad. But yeah, I think I went down like every aquatic animal, and I was like, okay, what are my top allergies? Shellfish was always the throat closing number one, instant throat close, and then fish would be like, okay, my throat's itchy and now it's closing. I had a little bit of time indication. And then like squid and octopus, I tried to eat it because someone was like, hey, you have fish allergies, you have shellfish allergies, but guess what? Squid and octopus, they're not technically fish or shellfish. You should try it. My dumbass, hey, you know what? I loved calamari as a kid. Guess what? I'm gonna eat it. And I know what you're thinking. Girl, you wanted to be a marine biologist. What are you doing? Well, hey, guess what? When I found out about my fish and shellfish allergy, that went out the water. Literally and figuratively, that career is gone and dead. Because how are you going to go into the ocean and do any of this? Like, and I just didn't know how bad it was. If I'm in the same room and someone's cutting open raw fish and it's not cooked and my throat's closing, and if I have raw fish on me like sushi, technically it's dead, right? But it was alive like a few seconds ago. How bad is my allergy? If I go into the ocean, am I going to die? I don't know. I didn't go. I literally did not go for years. I did not go into any like bodies of water for like over 10 years out of the fear of my own life, which is sad to say, but very much true. Anyways, the allergic to the fish username came about because allergic to shrimp, me changing my own username. Allergic to shrimp was the funniest thing that I could think of all out of the shellfish. I was like, allergic to lobster, no. Allergic to crab, not funny. But shrimp is just this little guy. And it's a cool username, so you can just call me Shrimp, which I would appreciate. And here's my baby Pumpkin, another gem from 2023. I saved this baby girl back in 2023. Here's a big a big loaf. She's coming to say hi. I saved her. I went down to Florida to visit my parents because I'm from Florida, and I would do so when I was on the brink of like mental breakdowns, because I was going to school full time and working full time, and I like needed to escape my crazy life, and I was like, hey, I need to just run away for the weekend. And sometimes I would go to like Colorado or Florida or Texas or just a state I could just be like, okay, I could breathe, like just for the weekend. But I went down there with no intentions of getting a cat. We went down. Oh, she's on my keyboard. Sorry, baby. She was at this pet store, and I saw her there, and she was just this little thing, and she was just scared in the back of the cage, and I was like, hey, I want to take her home. And my parents are like, bro, you're here for like 24 hours. Are you insane? And I'm just like, maybe. But I always wanted to have a cat, and my living situation where I live now is not the best. And I think it would help my mental health with everything that's going on. I struggled with depression for many years and anxiety, of course. And I just thought, hey, this might actually change my life and make me feel good. And she has saved my life and I saved hers. She had went through a lot, just like me, and I feel like she's a good representation of that. Sorry, I don't want to cry. I just feel bad. You know, she was abused, and they lied about her age at the pet store, and they said she was only a few months old when she was like 9 months old, and she was malnutritioned, and they gave her up for adoption many times. Her like previous owners would take her back and give her up and take her back, and like she had been also attacked by dogs, and she just had a rough life, and they didn't even think she was going to be this big. So now you see her and she's just this big loaf, but she's healthy, thank God, and she has no health issues, and she's the best thing ever. But her paperwork's crazy. Like, I got her in February 2023, just before I found out I wasn't allergic to seafood anymore. And I just did everything I could to make her better. I fed her great and got her to all the vets she needed, made sure her shots were updated, and gave her all the love I can. And she's doing good. With that being said, she is a tortie cat, and she does attack me. And if any of you guys know me from my Twitch channel, you have seen the clips and the emotes of Pumpkin attacking me. Now, I don't know why she does that. Sometimes I think she's triggered by me talking to you guys, but also, I'm sorry, she clicked off the scene. She keeps clicking on my my keyboard. What was I saying? She sometimes bites. I thought it was like an aggressive thing because, like, she's doing it right now. I thought it was an aggressive thing from her being abused, and then I was like, okay, maybe there's trigger words. Sometimes I think she just wants to play and doesn't know how to play in a non-rough way. And sometimes it's just like, I googled it and it's like, oh, she's a tortie. It's just tortie things. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Just tortie things, no big deal. But anyways, did I lose my train of thought? Oh, the allergic to shrimp thing. My name is allergic to shrimp. I went through many years of my life praying and begging God to take this away from me, and I've been blessed that my allergy is gone after, you know, living my whole life having this allergy. And I know some of you may say, hey, that's crazy, but I do believe in miracles, and I'm very thankful for this outcome, and I feel like this has happened to me so I can maybe just give my testimony to others and not give up hope on praying. And I know that sounds kind of crazy in this sort of space, but it's just one of those things that it's unexplainable. And all the doctors that I've been to, sorry, Pumpkin's so rude, she keeps clicking on my buttons. Every time that I've spoken to doctors about this happening in my life, it's just something that's unexplainable. And after seeing so many allergists, it's just something that it's like one of those medical miracles that they're just like, hey, I don't know how this happened, but it happens. And I know how it happened, and that's how. So I know it's something small, and I know people have gone through worse things in their life and have prayed about it and didn't see results. But I just would say, just like, don't give up on your faith, and things will get better. And I feel like also like changing my life by thinking things more positively, I feel like has happened like more things positive have happened in my life from it. So when I found out I was not allergic to shrimp and shellfish anymore, that's when I changed my username to not allergic to shrimp, because guess what? My name was allergic to shrimp as a meme. And I was like, now I have imposter syndrome, because how am I going to have my username as allergic to shrimp and I'm not? And then I was like, oh, not allergic to shrimp. Okay, this is my new username. Also, Shrimp Fried Rice Podcast. How did I get that name? My Discord server for the community has always been Shrimp Fried Rice, just because of the meme. You're telling me a shrimp fried this rice? Thought that was kind of funny. So these are these are my names. Me and my sister used to always joke about my allergy. Just those, like, you know, little suicidal jokes that are funny, haha, dark humors of I'm just gonna eat a shrimp right now and you can't stop me. You know, like, or like if I was on death row, which God forbid, like I don't want to ever do that, but I'd always, like, my death row meal would be like the Red Lobster family meal deal or whatever they had. That's just a tray of like lobster tail, crab, shrimp, and biscuits, because I never had that and I always wanted to try it. And we would often make these jokes, and then my sister would be like, well, what if you're not allergic at one point in your life and then you waited your whole life, and then what? And I was like, all right, so like on my deathbed when I'm old and lived a long life, I will eat this as my last meal. So at least, hey, I had it and no one can stop me. Then she's like, yeah, but what if you waited that long and you weren't allergic this whole time? And I was like, you're not wrong. Like, what if then I'm missing out on something? But guess what? At that point, I coped with my allergy after having it for so long that it's like, yes, I'm missing out on a big part of my life, maybe, but it's not something that was really holding me back in like the food world. I'd say like all my allergies as a whole have held me back in the food world, like especially fish and shellfish. Like I couldn't go out to eat at a restaurant, my throat would close because people cross-contaminated, which is crazy. And I know you think that's impossible. People are so good with food prep, especially with all the laws. No, actually you're wrong. Go to any restaurant, unless you're dining at a 5-star Michelin star restaurant, they're gonna cross-contaminate your food, baby girl. You thought you were vegan? Guess what? You're having little shrimp bits in your fries and you don't know it. I found that out from my throat closing numerous occasions by going out to eat. So I stopped eating out, and it was just something that I had to deal with, unfortunately, and I adjusted my life accordingly. I love to cook and bake. That's another thing about me, and I think that helped me also be able to experiment more in the kitchen on the meals that I could make within my culture, as well as others, and have something that was unfish related. Like I started experimenting with stuff that had fish in it, but I would just take the fish out and make the recipe. Like, who's gonna stop me? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, a lot of people don't think that way. Anyways, I'll just keep going on with the fish story, and then I'll make it back to how I started streaming. And I know I talked about putting down my brother with streaming, so I have to get back to that too. Okay, so I would say like for a year I didn't get contaminated, and I was like in twisting. I noticed that my throat hasn't closed out to eat at a family event or something, because I would go to a family event, throat would close, go out to eat, throat would close. Sometimes I would try new places because I'm just like, hey, my throat's gonna close. Do you guys have any cross-contamination? And they'll be like, no, and it did. Okay. Or like my ex-boyfriend's house, his parents would literally like fry fish before I would come over, and then I'd walk in and the steam would hit me, throat would close. So it was just one of those things, but that didn't happen for like a while, and I was like, yeah, you know what, this is kind of crazy, but I haven't had this happen in a while. And my mom's like, yeah, that's true, I realized that. And I would see those Red Lobster commercials on TV and I'd kind of get hungry, which I don't know if that was like a sign, but I was like, it's kind of weird that that hasn't happened. And I feel like it like made me just wonder more about my allergy. So after not having any cross contamination or issues for a year, I ended up going to the allergist, and the allergist is like, listen, don't get your hopes up. This is kind of crazy. I know that you really want this bad. You've been struggling with this your whole life. So don't expect a good outcome. And I was like, I know, but hear me out. I've been praying for this for a long time. I've had this allergy for a long time. My throat closed many a times. And I haven't had an instance that I can recall in the past year of getting hives, my throat closing, or anything like that from going out to eat, from being at family events or anything. So, she's like, okay, I understand. It's just maybe like one of those things that you've been avoiding. So just, don't worry about it. Same thing. Red dyes would make my throat close as well. And I didn't experiment with red dyes. I just didn't eat any processed foods, which is crazy to say in America, but guess what? I did it. And it was really difficult. You'd be surprised on how many foods have red 40 or any type of red dye in it. Also, I was lactose intolerant this whole time. That was the worst of them all. No, that wasn't the worst. My throat would close. But that was the worst because I'm Italian and I love cheese. Like, really, like, God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. What is it called? I don't know. That's how I felt, because I was just like, why? And then I'd have cheese and then my stomach would kill me, like, so bad. But yeah, throat closing from fish and shellfish and red dyes, that was worse. But anyways, we did a blood test because she's like, this is the safest option I can do. Like, I did skin testing in the past, but she's like, I don't want to touch it. I know how bad it is. So we're going to do a blood test. We're going to test for all these things. We're going to do with the most allergic to the least allergic. It's going to be like over 50, like, fish and shellfish. And we're going to make sure, like, if anything comes up positive, it could be just a few things. It could be just it could be a few things positive, could be a few things negative. It could be all positive, and then that's it. We're not going to do any further testing. She's like, but if any of these come back negative, what we can do is a food test. So if it's a little, she said if it was a little bit positive but not severe, then we could do, sorry, Pumpkin's pushing buttons. She said if it was a little bit, excuse me, Pumpkin. I'm going to move my, I'm so sorry. She keeps touching all of my scenes in OBS. I don't even know the shortcuts for these scenes. And she always finds a way to push those buttons. And now she's in attack mode. She's going to try to attack me. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so she was like, we can do a skin test for some of the allergies that come back a little bit positive if they do. And then we can do a blood test. So we do the blood test first, and then she's like, if you end up having any of these negative, then we'll do a food test. You sit in the office for a few hours, and then like you bring in the food, you take a bite smaller than a teaspoon. We test your airways, we make sure they're okay, we do your heart rate, and we have a nurse on staff just sitting with you while you're eating one bite every 15 minutes for like a few hours to make sure your throat doesn't close. So she's like, just bring in the most allergic food, which was the shellfish. And that was before the test. And I was like, she's like, but don't get your hopes up. I don't think he'll get that far. Me, I was like, bitch, I know I'm not allergic. I have not had my throat close in like a year. Like, you don't understand my whole life this happening, and now like it hasn't happened in a year. Like, I know. I was so confident, and guess what? I was right. So I did the blood test, came back negative. She called me up and was like, I have never seen this happen before in my life. This is insane. I think we should do the blood tests again. I was like, ma'am, I know that this is true because I have literally been begging God to heal me for so many years, and it's happened. And she's like, yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you can grow out of these allergies, whatever. And I'm like, I'm like 25. Like, there's no growing out of allergies at 25. Like, everyone says, like, when you grow out of allergies, it's like every so many years, whatever. So she's like, yeah, okay, well, maybe we could do the skin test and then the food test. I'm like, I'm not doing the skin test. They all came back 0. So she's like, all right, we'll do the food test. We have to take extra precaution, whatever. We set up the date. Guess what I ordered? My death row meal. That was the most exciting day of my life, after getting pumpkin, of course. I was like, oh my god, I can finally do it. I called up, I did research like all around, because I was like, should I settle for a Red Lobster or should I get something fancy? And then I looked at my bank account and I was like, we going to Red Lobster, baby. So I got the family deal, whatever it was. It was like a lobster tail. I had shrimp scampies and popcorn shrimp, I think it was, or it was like fried shrimp, and then crab legs, mashed potatoes, biscuits, and a drink, of course. It was a tray like this big, and I came in with it, and they're like, you could feed the whole office staff with that amount of food. And I was like, I know, hear me out. But guess what? I'm making up for my whole life. And I also was thinking, God, what if I hate fish and shellfish after all this time? Like, what if it's disgusting? Like, and I've been just like hyping it up for no reason. And so, yeah, we do the test, and they were like in awe, because they're like, we never seen this happen, and everything was fine. I started with, I think I started with the shrimp, and then the lobster, and then the crab. She's like, I usually wouldn't have people try multiple fish at the same time, but like, it's good that you have brought everything, since those were like your main things you were allergic to anyways. And honestly, the first few bites were incredible. After the first 15 minutes, I wanted to throw up and leave. You know why? Not because the food, well, first of all, the food was under-seasoned. If anyone's been to Red Lobster, they know, until this year, I would say, because now they have a new CEO, under-seasoned seafood is really just like, bleh. Like, I'm sorry, but it barely had salt. I don't even think it did, and like, it needed some seasoning. Like, and I know my family seasons food like pretty well as Italians, but like, I've seen them do the 7 fishes all the time. I couldn't be involved or in the same room like every year, and I knew that. I was like, there's no seasoning. Like, anyways, so that was the thing that was hard. The second thing that was hard about it got cold. So I don't like cold food. That's also circling back to like the autism spectrum. I have also a texture issue. I didn't realize how weird fish tastes. Well, not taste, feels in your mouth. I feel like that circles back to the autism thing a bit. Don't like that texture. So would I recommend fish and shellfish? Maybe like on the scale of 5 out of 10. But I will say I found out I like crabs more than anything. I would say shrimp would be under that, and then lobster would be below that. And that's coming from a flavor and texture standpoint. I know everyone's like, oh my god, lobster's the best, but I don't see it. I don't feel like the texture is there for me, as well as the flavor, and I feel like crabs have a better flavor than lobsters, and like shrimps, I like, maybe it's just like the fact that it's a small bite. But I do like the way that it's versatile. Yeah, I don't know. Coconut shrimps, they're amazing. Also, shrimp scampi, pretty good. Popcorn shrimp, also great. Lobster, it's just kind of like, you can only do it like a few ways, and then, I don't know, it's kind of, I guess, just one slab of meat, and that bothers me texturally. Like, I like that the crabs, you can put it in like a crab cake, but you can also eat it like that. Shrimp, same thing, the breading on it, it makes it like have a little bit of crunch, because I don't like the mushy texture. Sorry if you guys hear a noise. Pumpkin's playing with something on my desk. She does this pretty often. I have like lip gloss in there, and she just like fights with it, but that's fine. It's better than her biting me. But anyways, the test went well. My throat didn't close. I had my death row meal. Was I disappointed? Yes. Was I able to do it? Yes. Was I happy I didn't wait until that time of like to do it. Yes, because God, if that was my death row meal and it had no seasoning, what? No seasoning. And everyone's like, you should have known this, but how would I know Red Lobster had no seasoning if I'd never been to Red Lobster? Okay. Not something like my family's really been to either. They usually just eat seafood at like home or a restaurant. But anyways, yeah, so I'm thankful that my allergy is gone. I have my usernames to thank for my experiences, and I think it's a nice thing to talk about. Something semi-relatable for a lot of people who do struggle with allergies. I can't say that it was easy at all growing up with allergies. It's been a struggle literally my entire life. I've had to live my life differently. At one point in my life, I had to be vegan because of how many allergies I had. Like my almond allergy, it would make my stomach bloat like really, really big. Like I looked 9 months pregnant every time I had almonds. I found that out just by eating like Honey Nut Cheerios, I think. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Also, yeah, like the Red 40 would make my throat close. I couldn't have any like junk food. All those allergies also went away with my fish and shellfish allergies. So I'm very thankful for that too. Because I was like, hey, if I'm not allergic to fish and shellfish, I must not be allergic to red dyes either. So might as well just have some Kool-Aid. And my mom's like, no, don't do it. Stop. And she lived in Florida and I lived in New York. And I was like, who's going to stop me? Yeah, I did it. And I don't remember what, I think it was candy or something. I don't remember what the first red thing that I had after, but I was like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. Also I was happy about having like chips again and whatever, but honestly, since I think I've gone back to trying not to have processed food as much because it just makes me overall feel ill, but not in the allergy way, just like sluggish and my stomach just feels icky. What else was I going to say? Sorry, pumpkin's a little bit distracting. So we got the allergy thing out of the way, and going back to the Twitch thing, my brother always wanted to do like Twitch streaming and gaming. He was always amazing at gaming. He still is. And I didn't discourage him in a negative way that you're just like, hey, that's not something you can do. But like people like my whole life have always been like, hey, like, yeah, that may be a hobby, but like that's not something that you can make money doing. You always have to make money doing whatever. Like people that are happy in life, like it's not because they're doing what makes them happy. It's because, you know, they're making money and that makes them happy. And that may not be like what people have said specifically, but it was something along those lines. And I always took that with a grain of salt when I was growing up until I graduated high school, you know, moved out, went to college. And at that point, and you're thinking like, hey, what did you want to do with your life? Because you couldn't be a marine biologist. Well, I graduated school top of my class, magna cum laude, and I was like, I'm going to be a cardiac surgeon. That's my goal, because my grandma was a stroke patient, had a lot of heart problems, and she died when she was young. She died when I was young, and that also contributed to a lot of my depression because she raised me. She was like a mother to me, and it was hard to not have her here anymore, and I didn't really know how to cope with that, as well as my mom. You know, my mom lost her mom, and my mom wasn't the same either. So it was kind of hard because not only did I lose my grandmother, who was like my mom, I was also losing my mom, who is my mom, because she wasn't there for anybody, not even for herself. And it was extremely difficult for everybody. Anyways, when I thought that, like, my whole life I've always wanted to help people. I always cared about animals. I always wanted to help them. I've always wanted to give back to my community. When my brother was young, he had auditory processing issues, and I was always like, I want to be a teacher for disabled, and I want to help them because my brother needs help, and there needs to be more people like that. Like, I always wanted to just give back somehow. When I was in high school and I was like, I want to be a cardiac surgeon, no one really believed in me except for my mom. She always was encouraging to me and was like, you can do whatever you want to do in your life as long as you're happy doing it. And she never got the opportunity to do that because she had to help take care of her mom since she was 13 years old. Her mom being a stroke patient and almost dying, and my mom having to grow up at a very young age, it was hard. And her whole life was taking care of her mom. So losing her, it's not like she had no purpose. It's just like 90% of her life was taken away from her. And so I don't know. She was always encouraging of everybody to do what they wanted to do, because it was important, especially for her not getting that chance to do anything or having a choice in the matter, financially or otherwise. But a lot of people put me down for trying to be in medical school. Like, you don't have good enough grades, even though I had straight A's and I was top of my class. You don't have enough money, which I was thinking, how much money could you possibly need? That was my biggest mistake. I should have listened to them with that. It's highly competitive. I didn't understand what that meant. What is the competition in school? I mean, hey, you get good grades, I get good grades. There's no competition here. Like, I don't understand that. People would say you had to be more versatile and you had to have more like clubs and sports, be involved in all those things to do that, which I did my best to do. So when I originally went to college, that's what I wanted to do, but it wasn't easy getting there because we don't have money. Guess what? Going to college was not free because I moved to New York and I missed that opportunity. If I would have stayed in Florida, I would have gone to school for free just because of like scholarship purposes. But because I could not bear living in Florida any longer, I was like, I need to take this risk and move to New York, because when am I ever getting the opportunity again to leave? And if I stay in Florida for 4 more years or more, I know that I'm not going to get out of here. And I know there's no opportunities for me there. I don't feel happy here. Don't like the people. Don't like the heat. There's a lot of things I don't like about Florida. That's just a few things. And going to college, I had a massive student loan debt, which I still do. And essentially, I had been working 3 jobs and went to school full time. And that was the hardest thing I think I ever did. And I also was like, hey, I don't know if I can handle medical school, because what if I want to be a doctor or a surgeon and I can't fathom blood and guts, because I've heard those stories too, and people try to scare me into that too. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to join the fire department. Just add that to the 3 jobs, going to school full time and having no life. So I joined the fire department. I was a fire medic for a year at my local fire department. And I was trained as an EMT, but did not have the official certification for it, because there was a lot of drama with that, which I'll get into in another episode. So yeah, I did it, and I mentally was like, hey, like, this is what I want to do. I can handle it. But turned out I ended up having a back problem eventually. That led me to changing my career paths again and again and again. And I don't want to rush my stories of what I've went through in my life, but I do just want to, I guess, tell whatever I can in the hour, and then I think I'll go back. I'll make a note to myself of what I can talk about, because we're running near to the hour mark. Actually, right now it's going to be in a minute. So I'm not gonna speed run. I'm not gonna speed run. Let me have a drink. I need some water. Let's go back. Because of my struggles, let me summarize it. Of what I had to go through as an adult, living the adult world. When my brother was in high school and he wanted to say that that's what he wanted to do, I was like, listen, I understand that you want to do gaming, but don't do gaming full time first. Put it off on the side. Like, you can do that as your side thing, and then do like a job, and then you can do gaming on the side, because you need to have money first and foremost to pay your bills. And I didn't mean to discourage him anyway. And I've apologized to him, and I've told him many times that I was sorry, because I was like, you know, it breaks my heart that I've ever discouraged anyone if I did, and he says I didn't. But it still bothers me. Like, I feel like I didn't want to say it, but I was just trying to be a realistic big sister, because he was like, I want to move out like you. And I was like, well, let's break down everything. He came to visit like one summer, and I was like, this is how much it costs for phone bill and rent and food and water, Wi-Fi and everything. And I was like, how are you going to pay this if you're just gaming all day? Like, I understand you can make money from this, but how realistically would you pay any of this? And he's like, I couldn't. And I was like, okay, then. So you can game, but get a job first, you know? And he never really wanted to go to college. He didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. And I was like, that's okay, as long as you just do what makes you happy. And I know that's gaming, but like, you know, put that to the side. So I also took that as my own advice as well, because when I started gaming on live stream in 2023, I you know, did it as my side job. So we're back at working full time, and then at night I was doing gaming. So going back to earlier, over that summer I started streaming. I ended up finding a job, and that job I worked at until January this year. So I feel like this is a next podcast episode, because we're over our time. So I won't go in a lot of detail, but I will leave you guys on a cliffhanger, because I still have one more thing to talk about. In January of this year, I got fired from my job after being in the hospital for 3 days and having stroke-like symptoms. Yes, I know that's crazy, but that's what happens. Now, was that their excuse of firing me? No. They fired me under what did they say? They said, excuse me, Pumpkin. What are you doing? She's like trying to bite my screen right now, bro. Pumpkin. Hello? Bro is digging at my monitor. I got fired from my job. They said it was due to my performance. Was my performance bad? No. I worked my butt off at this job for what, 2 years? Almost. Just shy of 2 years. A year and 6 months maybe. And I got fired after coming out of the hospital because I asked them to go part-time. I wanted to go part-time because my left side of my body was numb, my face, my throat, my arm. And I was like, hey, I can't really do this right now. Like, I'm struggling, and I needed to follow up with a bunch of doctors because the hospital couldn't do all of the testing there. The testing that they did was an MRA, an MRI, a CT scan. They wanted to make sure I didn't have any blockages. I did a bunch of blood testing, chest x-ray, like literally all you can do to find out if you're having a stroke, basically. That's everything that they did. Thank God they did everything. That was also a struggle. I'll tell that another time. So, I didn't have a stroke. They still don't know why it happened, long story short. And I got fired from my job because of my performance after I asked to go to part-time. The part-time situation would have been temporary, but since they fired me, I got unemployment, and I used this opportunity to do Twitch streaming full-time. That's a long story short that I'll get into the next episode. Since we're a little bit over the hour now, I'll go back to when I first started streaming. Sorry, I know it's kind of crazy. I know the ADHD, the hyper, yeah, is definitely there. Everything is there. So I first started streaming without a camera. Then I moved up to a PlayStation 5 camera. Now, my bed to the TV position is over 6 feet away. Maybe double it. I don't think it's actually doubled. Maybe 10 feet away. I had my PlayStation 5 camera like on my TV. I had like my purple light on. Lights were off. No one can see me. I was so anxious with my anxiety. Like I couldn't even make eye contact like I am now. I can't make eye contact all the time because I also kind of struggle with that still. But if you kind of can do like a comparison of how much growth I've made visually, I went from not being able to even be seen on camera to being seen on camera to look at how nice this camera is now. So after I started Twitch streaming and I was gaining viewership, making new friends, meeting new people, getting more advice from probably June to when I became affiliate in December. After I became affiliate, I was like, oh, this can actually be something for me. At that point, I didn't think this is going to be my career. This is what I want to do. This is going to change my life. I was just thinking, okay, I think this is kind of funny. Whatever. Not like gaming is funny. Not that I need to take it serious. It's just like something I can record that's a little bit funny, and like it's just something I do on the side. Didn't think I could make money off of it. When I became an affiliate and I started making money off of it, I was like, mind blown. Pumpkin just got scared. Sorry, baby. So I was like, I need to get a PC. So I did the best thing I could do. Go into more financial debt. I didn't even tell you guys about what happened in college, y'all. That's another podcast episode. So I get take out a Best Buy credit card. Hey, 10 out of 10 would recommend if you need to get any equipment for streaming, only if you read the guidelines perfectly and you pay it back perfectly. I got fucked over. It's supposed to be like you have like, let's say 12 months. I don't remember if it was 12 months. You have 1 year from the day you get your PC and all the equipment, make it on one purchase. Okay. And then you have 1 year from the date to pay it back. Well, they didn't start charging me until after 30 days or so from when I got the equipment. And because I had so much going on in my life, I kind of fucked up. It's all on me. I fucked up the timeline of what I set up my payment plan to be. And they also said like the minimum payment was, let's say $40 a month, which I also is my fault. I should have done the math and assumed that I just assumed the $40 a month or whatever it was would mathematically make up to the year timeline. Because why would they suggest a minimum amount if it wasn't going to be paid back? You know what I'm saying? Like by the time. Well, of course, they're not here to help me. They're going to make more money. Duh. They're going to make more money off of you if you don't pay it back on time. And that's what happened to me. That's literally what happened to me. Guess what? I owe them like another $1,000 on top of it because of interest that they added, probably, and it's still adding up to this day because of the PC that I got last year. So, hey, I made a lot of bad financial decisions. Yes, some of them, most of them are my fault. But like, I don't really have a lot of people that can give me advice around me that's been in similar situations, unfortunately. So a lot of my situations that I've been through in my life are live and learn, which I think would be a lot of what will come from my podcast is just me experiencing life and you guys seeing what I've been through, and maybe it's going to be entertaining and you're going to think like, damn, this bitch is dumb, or you're gonna be like, wow, like let me just learn from it and not do those mistakes that Shrimp made. Sorry, Pumpkin is like freaking out right now, y'all. Excuse me. She's getting a little antsy. I'll be honest, it's Sunday right now. It's Sunday at 11:36 in the morning. So she is kind of like, what the heck's happening? We don't stream on the weekends. I always give myself a weekend off just so I can have like a mental break from everything. But because I've been wanting to do this podcast for some time now, and I haven't had the time just because of all the doctor's appointments I've been going to lately, I figured this is the best time I have it. My brother's not home. I don't really have much distractions. And I feel like that's what was going through my head while doing this, and she's freaking out because of it. She's like, hey, this is our relaxed time. Get off your computer. What the heck? yeah, so um I ended up getting a regular camera. I think it was like the C922 because I was like, this is what everyone says to get. I got like some bad mic from Amazon, wasn't anything crazy. And then I have like this other camera that I got that is for my pumpkin cam. I used to have my pumpkin cam in my gaming section, which I actually didn't make a scene for that in here, which I might add because I might do some gaming in the in the podcast if I feel up to it. And I know that sounds crazy, but this isn't your traditional podcast, and that's probably what I should name the podcast. But I just wanted to showcase so many things about I guess like about me, about my life. I think I want to prove that podcasts don't need to be perfect because my life isn't perfect. You see these logos? I made them myself. Do they look like shit? Maybe. My hair, is it a mess? A little bit. Does it need to be re-dyed? 100%. Will you wear wigs? Yes. Have you worn wigs? Yes. When will you wear wigs? Probably again soon. I feel like that's just also like another topic to talk about. Where was I? My podcast, or no, Twitch equipment. Okay, I spent all this money upgrading my equipment. I even upgraded my camera most recently when I started going full time because I was like, hey, you're gonna see me for 4 hours a day. Let's make the camera a little bit better. So now I have a Sony camera set up, which makes a nice quality video. And I'm really happy about it. And I will say you don't need any of this equipment to be a streamer. That's the thing I've learned along the way, and everybody says that and everyone's like, oh, yeah, right. But guess what? It's true. Like, I've literally seen people blow up from having a crappy mic that just sounds funny. And it's good. It doesn't have to be like perfect content. And I just feel like that's how it is with this podcast too. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. And yes, I made my just like all my just chatting and my BRB screen, my intro, my outro, and it's just not perfect. But it's just me. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to be perfect all the time. I may not even wear makeup on these podcasts. I don't know. Like, if I don't want to do my hair like today, it's just going to be the way it is, and that's fine. So anyways, I have learned a lot in my streaming time in the past 2 years, and I'm hoping to grow more, and I'm hoping that you guys get to learn more about me that you haven't heard. And for some of you that have been a long time viewer on my Twitch and have heard these stories before, because, you know, there are moments where I pause my gaming and I'm just like, you know, deep talking about life. And you've heard these things, I'm sorry. But thank you for sticking around and trying to support me from another platform. But doing Twitch for 2 years has led me to where I am now. I will say, because I've had so many people that told me that my streams have been inspiring and made them feel good and just changed their lives, which, you know, made me so emotional. I cried many times. And it's just something that I thought, if people are telling me to make a podcast and they like my just chatting section maybe more than my gaming content, then let me just do what I can to put in the effort so I can reach a bigger audience and maybe help more people, because I like to help people. That's just who I am. And maybe that is making me very vulnerable to anybody in the world on the internet. Yes. But when I'm explaining my life stories, I'm not asking for any advice from any of you guys. And I'm not asking for any answers either. And I'm not asking you guys to help me fix what's going on. Maybe I will rhetorically be like, why? Why did I do this? No. I don't want anybody in the comments being like, well, actually, no, I don't want any of that. Maybe I want you guys to just consume what I'm saying and then take it in and like make your necessary adjustments in your life. Or maybe you're gonna just be like, damn, this bitch has had it hard, but guess what? This is where she is now, and I can make it. like, if she can do it, I can do it too. Or something that's like, oh wow, she went through this difficult thing and this is how she got through it. Maybe this is a way that can help me get through it. I don't know what can come from this. The world may never know. Maybe you guys will tell me. I appreciate you guys being open to receiving all of this. So when I was going back to the growth I've made with Twitch alone, that I've been trying to say this whole time, I think from the beginning, I went from having no camera and a bad microphone to having a good camera and a little bit better microphone. But that's the growth I can say I had with my own anxiety and self-consciousness, was because I just didn't feel comfortable being on camera. I have struggled with my self-image my whole life because of other people's opinions about me and what I should look like. And I am aware of all my imperfections, especially since so many of people in my life have pointed them out. Now, have I tried to change who I am? Yes. Am I happy with myself when doing that? No. That's one thing I can give you and leave you guys with, is something that don't let others tell you how to live your life or how you should look or how you should feel. You only get to live this life once, and you need to experience every moment for yourself. Now, will that stop you from having people put like their own insecurities on you? No. Will it stop you from having people say those things to you? No. But maybe you can figure out a way that you can take what they're saying and either change their way of thinking of, hey, that's very disrespectful how you spoke to me. I don't appreciate that. I love the way I look. Or if you don't have the confidence, because I never did, to stick up for myself, you can just ghost them, never talk to them again. Who cares? Life is too short to care. They clearly don't care, or else why would they say those things to you that are going to hurt your feelings? Maybe that's a toxic way of thinking, but they were also being toxic to you by speaking the way they did to you. With that being said, again, I know I'm not perfect. I know there's things about me that aren't perfect, and I guess that circles back to being on camera. Like, it's hard for me to be on camera because I feel awkward. I know I'm being judged. I know I'm being perceived. Maybe like I don't wax my mustache and I get a little caterpillar. Right now I get nervous, my upper lip is sweating, so I'm always like this and it looks kind of funny. Like, I don't know. Like right now my lip gloss is coming off, my lip liner, and you know what, that's okay. And that's why I am also making this podcast raw and unedited, because these are how my Twitch streams are. Podcasts I've seen have the perfect intro music, the perfect microphone, the perfect sound equipment, the perfect people that are working with them. Some of them have a script. Some of them like know what they're going to talk about before they go on screen. They have great editors. They make everything look perfect. We don't live in a perfect world. And when you're Twitch streaming, you're vulnerable to everything in the world. It's not just you, it's you versus everybody. So I've had people bully me in my own chat. Of course, I banned them. But at first, I was vulnerable to that. I wanted to have viewers. I wanted to make friends. And I let it happen a lot of the times, because if I ban this person, who's going to watch me? I have one viewer right now. But then I was like, why would I want this one asshole here shitting on my life while I'm trying to have a good time? And that's how I feel about a lot of things in life. Like, I think when I finally understood that this is my platform, this is what I make it, I set the tone of how my stream's going to be, and I don't want this negativity in my life. I'm doing streaming to make me feel happy, and doing so has healed my inner child. And I'm working on my way to heal my middle school self. And I think it's something beautiful that I've done, and I've grown a beautiful community, and I've met a lot of people, and I've helped a lot of people. So, like, why would you want to have that negativity in your life? But streaming has opened you up to that, and it's just something you have to deal with. Can't ban everybody in chat, but you can choose how those words affect you. I think the other problem is when you have a live stream, I think like maybe it's just like technology that just fucked up everybody's head, or maybe it's just that people don't understand that we're humans, like, or it's different. Like, people have went from shit talking on YouTube and the comments can be deleted. I grew up with, like, in the YouTube era of like everything like being on YouTube and people making crazy comments. Of course you can ignore the comments, but then you go on Twitch and you can't ignore that because you're just like gaming and the haha, go fuck yourself. Oh wait, what? Like, oh, and by the way, your acne looks so bad. I had so many comments about that, and I know you're thinking, wow, your face looks pretty clear now. Thank you. I know. I have been on a very hard skincare journey. That's a different podcast episode, I think. But the other thing is that I've learned with streaming is talk to your viewers like you're talking to a million people, like not just that one viewer. And when I turned my view count off, my whole world changed. I felt so free. And after that, I've begun to flourish. Like, I am blooming like a little flower in springtime. And I think that's what's opened me up to the podcast world and why I want to do this raw and unedited. Not only because I want to show you guys the real me, of course, but I feel like it's good to get away from that perfect image that I think that's what's breaking everyone's minds of the reality split of we are still human. Like, this is a human podcast and people shit talk on Twitch and they don't realize like these are still humans at the end of the day. Like, why are you talking to someone so disrespectfully? And I do think that YouTube in a way is like dumb to blame, or maybe it's just how fast technology has grown. Maybe it's just people that are dumb. I don't know. But I just feel like there's that divide of everybody making it picture perfect, like this is a movie, and then they see these people and then they idolize them and they don't even think that these people are real, and then they're just like holy crap. and then they put them up on this pedestal, and at the end of the day these people are just humans and they go through human stuff, and a lot of people won't know that because a lot of these people don't talk about it, and I don't think that's okay. And I know people don't want to talk about their personal issues, and I'm a chronic oversharer. That might be my default. I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's just who I am. But I think it's good to normalize stuff like that because there's such a big divide of the normalcy of everyday life and a streamer's life, or a YouTuber, or a celebrity, or a vlogger, or anybody who's doing something with any kind of platform. I think there has to be like a good in between of, hey, wow, this person is like the perfect example to, these are the struggles it took for me to get here. I'm not saying I'm here. I hope to be one day, though. That is the goal. And I know what you're thinking. What's my dream podcast guest? I was gonna do like the voice. Dream guest. Dream. What's my dream podcast guest? I don't have one. It's just me. It's just gonna be me and Pumpkin right now because I want to feel comfortable, and I may do other stuff like cooking. I may do like a little bit of vlogging. Like I said, this is not your traditional podcast. I think I'm gonna have to put that in my bio. But anyways, I think that I definitely have gone over my time. I'm gonna do my best to not do that in the future, just so I can do stuff in the Patreon. I'm gonna try to set up the Patreon after I finish recording this because I owe it to whoever's gonna be there. I appreciate everybody who's listened this far, and I hope to have you guys come back. And if you don't, hey, that's fine. I'm going to keep doing it. So like I was saying, what I've learned from my streaming experience, I'm going to be talking like there's nobody there, just like I do with my Twitch account. And guess what? There may not be anybody there, but that's okay because I want this to be kind of like maybe a virtual diary, but in a way that it can help someone else and make someone else feel good at the end of the day. So if you guys don't know about my Twitch, go check out my Twitch. It's Not Allergic to Shrimp. And so are my other social medias. I have Instagram. It's all under here. My TikTok. I have a clips account for my TikTok. I also have like a goofy TikTok. I'm trying to work more on that as well. That's also something new in my life that I'm trying to venture into, is just showing my personality more on the internet by just being me instead of just consuming the media. I'm trying to put it out there, which may not be perfect, but that's okay. And yeah, like if you guys join my Twitch, my streaming schedule is kind of unknown because, like I said earlier, I do have to get back to work, unfortunately. But just know that it's not going to be permanent. It's a temporary situation. And I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't have to pay my bills. Remember that college debt I was telling you about? that credit card debt I was telling you about? Yeah, that stuff. I have massive debts I have to pay for, and I unfortunately am going to be working to help pay for that. I don't want to be a slave to American society by working for a regular 9-to-5 to pay my student loans and all my other debts off. So I'm hoping that one day I can make it big and I can pay off my debts and get out of the living situation I'm in and help my parents, help them pay off their debts. And I'd like to travel and I'd like to give back to my community, give back to God and help animals and do so much in this world. Like I don't want to just be a streamer, like, and I don't want to be one of those streamers that just gives to charity for clout. Like, I have been giving to charities my whole life. Not only have I been charity, like I have been giving to charities even when I don't have much to give, because I have a heart that hurts for people, and I don't want anyone to feel bad for me for any of the stuff I went through. I just hope that people learn from what I've gone through and maybe help them what they're going through, or change it if they can, or provide a positive outlook or some sort of entertainment, because there's so many people in this world that have it worse than me. Like, I'm so thankful for everything that I have in my life and everything I've been able to do in my life, and it's been a blessing. And I, like, literally to even think about what's going on in the world and all these people that actually need help, it pains me. But that's kind of like what has healed my inner child, was doing Twitch and doing things that I couldn't do as a kid because of what the things I went through was. And it has made me feel good. And I always try to have my Twitch space be a positive one and make me feel good always, but also make others feel good. Make it a safe space, make it community based, so we all feel good together. Everybody's trying to uplift. Now, are there times people are assholes? Yes. Do I address it? Yes, because I'm not going to be walked over anymore in my Twitch stream. And that's something that I learned in my life as well as on my social medias. Do I still need to grow? Yes. Do I need improvements? Yes. How I handle things? 100%. But at the end of the day, I'm not perfect, and I'm trying to improve my life. Okay. So I think this is where I'll leave you guys. We're at 1 hour and 30 minutes, so I do apologize. It's a little bit lengthy this time. I wanted to do 1 hour each time, and at first I was like, what am I going to talk about? What? It's 1 hour? Well, this is so much time. Oh my god. Now it's 1 hour and 30 minutes. Sorry. So the last thing I'll leave you guys with is try to do something that makes you happy. Try to, even if it's something small, like what I've been integrating into my streams for the past 8 months is coloring time. Hey, I know it sounds funny. I get a pre-made coloring book. I color in it for 1 hour a day. I listen to Chad music. Shout out to Chad music. he was in my intro screen. I don't know if I can keep using his music, but I might be able to. If not, still, he's an amazing streamer, an amazing musician, and I'll keep plugging him forever because he deserves all his his flowers, because he makes music that makes me feel good, and then I do something that makes me feel good. Now, you don't have to listen to his music or his streams, but I would 10 out of 10 recommend it. Listen to music that makes you happy and do craft that makes you feel good. And if it's not craft, maybe it's gardening, maybe it's baking, maybe it's cooking. That's other stuff I like to do. Maybe it's spending time with your family. Maybe it's creating something on the internet to help other people. Whatever it is that you may do that's a positive outlet, that is healthy coping mechanism, do something like that. And I know what you're thinking. I'm not unemployed like you are, Shrimp. How am I going to have an hour in my day? Guess what? I've been saying the same thing my whole life, and I never made that time for myself. And it brought me to the darkest depths of my thoughts in my brain, as well as hardest times. And what I can say is, it sounds ridiculous, and I told my therapist that too. But guess what? It actually works. And if you don't believe me, try it for 30 days. I started doing a 30-day, 30-page challenge. So I challenge you all. You have to do it now. Guess what? You have to do it. Get a coloring book that has 30 pages, maybe more, maybe less, whatever. Draw on it every single day for 30 days. Listen to music for an hour. And I know what you're thinking. It takes an hour for you to color one page. What are you, like 5? Doesn't matter. Do it as slow as possible, because at first you get this feeling of tension, like, I just want to get this over with. But then after like 10-20 minutes pass and you're listening to the music and you start to unwind, you're like, oh wait, this is nice. This is like, okay, I'm relaxing. And I feel like a lot of people need that, because we don't have really third spaces, I don't know how to say that, anymore. And we don't really take time for ourselves, and we're just like scrolling mindlessly, like on TikTok shorts, whatever you're doing, especially myself. And it's not healthy. And you need something to do that's a little bit more productive, and it may inspire some creativity. Like, I've had people in my chat while I'm doing this, they bought the same coloring book and we're doing the same page at the same time, which is nice to get my community involved. But other people have been drawing, which is nice. They have their own talents I don't have. And clearly to my logos. And guess what? Oh, I'm sorry for my alarm. It's my lunchtime. That's my ADHD alarm. But anyways, they're doing something that makes them happy. I've done clay, like crafting with clay. I've done painting with watercolors. I have done a lot of things during that 1 hour time. Anything, even if it's reading, it doesn't matter. Do something that makes you happy. And also just be kind to one another. It's hard in this world, and I know it's not easy, but you don't know what someone's going through, and it's easy to be mean and it's hard to be kind, but just take everything with a grain of salt, because there's so much that's happened in this world. But besides everything that's going on in this world, what's going on in someone's life may shock you. So just try to spread as much kindness as you can. Even if people aren't kind with you, you can kill them with kindness, or whatever they say. Not actually, like whatever that phrase is. I'm bad with those things. But anyways, I'm gonna leave you guys now. Have a great day. Thank you guys for watching. My link tree will be in my bio with all my other socials. Make sure you guys follow all of these accounts. I'd appreciate if you guys could support me on all my platforms. My Twitch streaming schedule is up in the air, but right now I'm thinking I'm going to try to do 1 day a week, hopefully Friday nights, because realistically speaking, when I get a job, it will be hopefully Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 type of thing. So my old streaming schedule was 9:30 p.m. to 11:20 p.m. Mentally, with all the things I've been through in the past 2 years, don't know if I can do that again. So I'm going to go from 5 days a week that I've been doing for the past 2 years to 1, which is, it's driving me crazy. I know, but guess what? I'm going to be doing podcasts instead. So I can update you guys what's going on in my daily life, but also I'm going to tell you guys about what I've gone through in the past. I think that's what I think. If I can get out the sentence, I think that's what I will do. And of course, I will update you all with any changes. What's not listed below is my Discord. My Discord link is in my link tree. If you guys want to join my Discord, I will have more updates of when I do go live on Twitch, since sometimes Twitch notifications are unreliable. I always post my announcements when I do go live. You guys can get involved in the community, post your coloring time pictures if anybody does my challenge. I always post in there if I remember. And a lot of people in the community post as well. You can post your pets. You can post, hey, I have a lot of things. I like wrestling. I like medieval. I like Star Wars. I don't even know if I have a Star Wars section. Maybe I should make one if I don't. You know, pet pics, food pics, recipes, anything. If I don't have a category for it and it's something that sounds cool, suggest it in the comments. I will add it to the Discord or join the Discord and I'll add it, whatever. But yeah, if you guys want to share some life experiences in the comments or anything nice, feel free to. If you guys want to share any advice or tell me how to live my life, don't bother. All right, that's all I have for you guys. Have a great day. If you guys are listening from work, I hope the work day gets better. Have a beautiful week as well, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. All right, bye.